Hi Lumineers, welcome to the Lighter Side Show. I'm your host, Jamie Butler, and today our guest is going to be Mother Mary. Yes, Mother Mary, as channeled through our real guest, the human guest, Danielle Gibbons. You can find Mother Mary's work on Danielle Gibbons' YouTube channel, which is
Mother Mary channel.
The Mother Mary channel on YouTube, and on her website at belovedpublications.com. Danielle does have events with Mother Mary. She has one coming up in April 15th and 16th here at the Center for Love and Light, where Mother Mary teaches all weekend.
Yes.
And she also has another one in October 19th through the 22nd. At the Dahlonega Resort and Spa. But in January, you have a book signing for your book. And we have it here, Mother Mary's Pathway to Love. And that's in Seattle.
In Seattle.
January 14th.
January 12th.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then a little workshop after that in Issaquah on the 14th and 15th, which is right outside of Seattle. Issaquah is right outside of Seattle.
So, Lumineers, if this is resonating with you and speaking to you, I can tell you I'm a little nervous, that please reach out. See that as something that's motivating you to learn more and just observe the material. And if it's something that calls to you, show up for it. Because this is beautiful, and I'm so lucky and honored to be with you today, Daniel, as Mother Mary comes in. And I'm going to pass it over to you if you want to introduce or talk about what's about to occur.
Okay. Great to be here with you, as always. And so it takes me about a little under a minute to bring Mother through. And what I like to invite people to do is, as I go in and start breathing, if you breathe with me. And it's almost as if you're welcoming Mother into the space as well, because of course she's not just coming to my body, she's coming to the space, she's coming to your space. If you're watching, she's coming to your space too, so you're inviting her in. And it's nice to be a part of that process. So, here we go. Hello, beloved ones.
Hello.
And hello, my beloved one.
Hello. Oh.
It is wonderful to be with you today, my dear.
Thank you for being here with us.
You are always welcome, my dear.
Thank you. So I have gone blank in your presence.
And it's not the first time that someone has done that.
Yes.
It's easy to do, because for many people, you included, my energy is like a homecoming. It's a place where people can settle and find their heart to clear away much of the clutter that is sometimes involved in daily life. It's almost, you could call it a resting place. Yes?
Yes.
And for the human being, and all the stimulus that goes along with being a human being, that resting place can be very valuable.
Yes, it can be very valuable. I've noticed I do feel quite different in your presence. I have many things I would like to ask, but the first one is any question on the table?
Any question at all. That is what I tell everyone that I work through with this body, that there is no subject that is off limits because I am not religious, right? I do not belong to a religion or an ideology or a particular spiritual practice. I am Divine Mother. And so, as such, as the Mother, I love all.
Can you please explain, as being a Divine Mother, how not one faith system stands above another?
Faith, religions, practices, rituals, they are designed as gateways, right? So if you are truly seeking spirituality, and let me just greet you as well, beloved. Wonderful to be with you as well. These were designed for gateways into spirituality, along with the support of a community. But when you get more than one person together in a room, then there is personality conflicts and power struggles and all kinds of things, right? But these tenets of faith are designed to help those like yourself who come to a lifetime and just know they want to explore faith, spirit, God, whatever word you want to put, but it's that mystery, right? That magnificence, that moment that you know that there's something beyond, and you want to explore that. So these religions, these practices, ceremonies, these were all put in place to help people like yourself go through that doorway and see what's on the other side. And those of you that truly choose to discover inside the faith, everyone's very attracted to you, right? Like a moth to flame. And so there is a lot of people that don't necessarily want to explore spirituality. They want what you have without doing the work to get it, right?
Yes.
So let's say what you are doing here with your beautiful, beautiful center, which I must say that when I come to the body in your center, it is a joy, beloved. The energy that is already there waiting for me is gorgeous.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome. But what happens is that, let's say, for example, that you were part of an early religion, all right? And you were not maybe the leader, but you were one of the people that truly wanted to dive in and explore and go through that doorway. Your light grows and grows and grows, and your vibration rises higher and higher and becomes finer and finer. And that's a call to many people. So they come because of you, not necessarily the religion or the ceremony or the ritual. They come for you, and then they stay, but they don't really want, they're not drawn to make the effort. It's not good or bad. It's not, oh, that person isn't doing their work. No, they're drawn to the energy, but they're not ready to do the work. So what happens is that they get softened, right? The energy softens and softens. So maybe in the next life, then they're ready to dive in and go through that doorway. So it's people like yourself that are not just helping individuals or groups in this lifetime, but you are preparing them for the next lifetime as well, when they really are going to dive in. So the next time any of you think to disparage a religion or a practice, think about it in terms of planting seeds, right? Because the majority of people that are in these religions, they are attracted to the energy. They are not attracted to the effort, the work, the exploration, right? And they're attracted to the people that are anchoring that energy and that light. That's what they want. So they are softening in this life. They are softening. Oh, it all serves a very vital purpose for the overall evolution of the collective.
I've heard many stories from Danielle that you are very good at interfering with electricity. I've noticed one camera is already down. We'll just let that one stay down. That's so intriguing.
It is a job hazard, right? That's the word, yes. Because I bring my energy down far enough so that we can even do this.
Yes.
But it has to be high enough so that everyone who watches can have Shakti.
Yes.
Because otherwise there is no point for me to come to the body. It's not enough to speak the words, you have to feel the words.
Feel it, definitely.
Yes. I apologize about the camera.
That's it needed to go to sleep.
Yes.
I would love to know through your eyes what is so beautiful about being human. A lot of us struggle with it.
And that is part of the beauty. I know that sounds so counterintuitive and so odd. But to watch your awakening, to watch when, even though you have been beaten down or had terrible things happen, you can still turn around and extend love to another. It is the most breathtaking thing that is in existence. You have a shadow that you cannot get rid of, that you must learn to come to peace with, and not just come to peace with, but to learn to appreciate and eventually celebrate. Because it is the shadow that shows you your light. Many people believe that compassion, that great aspect of love, comes from the light. No, it is from your shadow. Because if you are struggling with something, and beloved Colleen has no experience with that whatsoever, has never had pain, doesn't know why you're struggling, how can she have compassion for you? Compassion comes from empathy. She may not know the exact kind of pain, but her pain, her experience with shadow and pain says, I'm with you. And people do not necessarily want you to fix it. They want you just to be with them in the pain, to comfort them, to sit and hold someone's hand when they are suffering, to be quiet, to be silent with them, and just to say, I'm here. cannot take your pain because it's yours. But I love you and I'm here because I know your pain. Because I have a shadow and you have a shadow, and together we understand what pain means. That's compassion. And without shadow, you would be incapable of it. Do you understand?
I do understand.
So the journey of humanity is to understand how extraordinary you are, how powerful you are. And I'll give you another example. You've experienced resistance, yes?
Yes.
A few times in your life, here and there. Have you ever stopped to notice how powerful the resistance is, or what you manifest through resistance to sabotage things, or to that all these events line up to put up roadblocks and obstacles, and you are creating that. If you were to stop and notice every time you were in resistance, you would be shocked at how powerful you are. Because if you take responsibility for self, you recognize you're responsible for all of it. To call to you, do you have any idea how much power it takes to call to you everything you need to set up that roadblock, to create that resistance? Because you are not a passive passenger in this life. You are the creator, right? I'm here and others are here to support your creation, and we can give grace and guidance and help when it's needed and asked for and all of that. But ultimately, you are the creator. So take a look at your resistance if you want to learn just how powerful you are. And when you realize that, then you shift to say, well, if the resistance is part of the shadow and there's that much power that I can create so much, what about my light? What could I create with my light? What could I create with my joy, my happiness? How could I channel that into endeavors that expand my consciousness and my being? And so the human experience, and I spoke about this at great length in this last retreat, you come to a point in your life where you have to decide, is your life a burden or a privilege? And when that shift happens, when you choose to see your life as a privilege, everything changes from there, right? And illness in the body, to look at it as an opportunity to know self, right? This illness is manifesting to say, pay attention. I have something for you. Pay attention. And until you pay attention, it's going to persist, right?
Yes.
And when you pay attention, you discover so much within that experience. It does not promise you that you'll survive the experience. You might die from it. But when life becomes a privilege, you recognize that this is all temporary anyway, right?
Yes.
And so it's sad if you don't survive, sad for the people that survive you. But there has come with your modern technology a rejection of death. Death has become the enemy. And I tell you that almost more than anything else in your world today, your modern world, has made it problematic to enjoy being human. Right? There is such a concern with death that it's hard to live life. So as long as that is true, when you can let go of your demonizing of death, when it can become a natural and normal, and in okay, is this welcome part of life, then all of a sudden you shift from life being a burden into it being a privilege. And nothing will have changed outside in your life, but everything inside starts to shift. And when your perception shifts, your life shifts. So, it is my belief and my experience that it is a singular privilege to be a human. And that is often why people come to me, because I can give them that experience over and over again until they believe it for themselves. Sort of the, I love you until you love yourself. Yes?
Yes. That's beautiful.
Indeed you are.
I am sweating and crying. Maybe that might subside in a little bit. Since I was born into this life, who I am today, I have been with the ability to see the lights around objects and people and trees and animals. And I wanted to ask, in my eyes, I do not see a hierarchy on earth between plant life and animal life and human life. Is there a viewpoint from where you are, or from the heavens, the homes, the afterlife? Is there a hierarchy between these life forces that we have on earth?
Let me put it in more simple terms. What you're seeing is the creative force. And no, there is no hierarchy, right? Everything is made from the force of creation.
Yes.
Okay? So there's not one God. There is life force, Shakti, creative energy, whatever you want to call it. And it even goes far beyond nature, right? That is what you're witnessing. That's what gives the glow. And because, yes, everything is filled with that life force, even, oddly enough, inanimate objects,
yes,
because they were touched by those who have life force, right? They exist in rooms, in places where there is life force. They don't generate it on their own, but they soon become saturated with it through their contact with those that do. When the hierarchy comes, it's more a matter of amount versus quality, right? So, for example, my being now is more vast than yours.
Yes.
But the essence of it is the same. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
I think as humans, our greatest talent is to measure, compare, contrast, label,
Yes.
and define.
Yes.
And I feel somehow that when my abilities are measured, compared, contrast, defined, and labeled, that I lose some of it. My language doesn't fit what I'm able to see and feel and express. It gets lonely.
Yes. And so, what is important, and if it's all right, I'm going to tell you just a little bit about your own evolution, if it's okay, if you want to share. Not too personal.
It's okay.
But what you're evolving to, beloved, is that in your teaching, you will help people to feel it more than just talk about it, right? That's what's coming through as your vibration rises, as you are refining your own being. You are much more able to convey the feeling of what you're talking about, right? So the words, while they're important because they keep the mind busy, and people love that, they really love, they need it, it's important, right? You like to know, humans like to know. And so you give them that part, but the energy starts to come through more and more powerfully. So when you speak, people can feel what you're saying in the deeper parts of themselves. So what's going to happen as a shift is that many of the people that are coming to you are going to go from curiosity to what I talked about earlier, those that really want to explore. Mm-hmm. Really want to explore. So you're going to start sort of working on different levels with people that are already at different places. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Indeed. So your sort of frustration with putting things into words will have an outlet, because you will know that a certain population of your community is really there to feel. You still need the words, but they're there to feel. And that symbiotic relationship between you and those types of people, it's fulfilling in a way that just speaking and just having your words taken at face value does not give you.
Yes. So I have another question, and I wanted to open up to see if Colleen wanted to ask one in a little bit. The question in and of itself might be hypocritical or go against itself. I understand from my viewpoint how I experience life is that there is no wrong, there only is. And of course that is difficult with our language that we have on earth right now, because there is extreme rights and wrongs and everything is labeled. But in getting to our authentic self, our most truest sense of who we are, is there one perspective or viewpoint that we could look at setting aside a little bit more or not use as much, so that we may adopt or adapt to a perspective that is going to help us see all that is, that there are no wrongs and there are no mistakes?
I would encourage you all to take 2 words out of your lexicon: hate and should. If you were to remove those completely, you would be amazed at the shift. Because when you take a word out of your vocabulary long enough, your brain stops using it as a go-to form of resistance, right? Or a way to punish. So even if it's used in humor, right? That's a form of resistance that's very acceptable, right? So that's a good place to start. And the other place I would encourage is to make gratitude a practice. Every day to write down 5 things that you are grateful for. Every single day. Try to make it different, but it's okay if there are some repeats. And it can be something so simple. This beautiful top you have, I'm so grateful that I have such beautiful clothing. That's nice, wonderful. Yes, the more you feel that you have, there's the shift. Burden, privilege. The burden is about lack, right? We don't have enough. There is never enough. Privilege is we have everything we need right here, right now. So gratitude helps enormously with that shift. But it's not enough to just say, oh, I'm grateful occasionally. But if you make a practice of gratitude, that shift then begins slowly but surely to gain traction inside of you. And however you want to support those things, whether it's a particular practice or ritual or religion, it's all fine. The only requirement is that it has to resonate here. It has to touch your heart. It has to make you feel buoyant. Whatever you do, feel the resonance first before you commit to it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because that's why there are so many teachings, because you are all so different and you come to life at a different place. So to find what resonates, that helps you to feel lighter, more buoyant, more expansive, that's what you stick with until it doesn't anymore. And then the next thing will come, right?
Thank you so much for answering that.
You're
that was
welcome.
Beautiful.
That was really beautiful. I have a question. I'm sitting here taking all of this in, and I'm able to be so present, and I'm astonished by it that I can't even think ahead to think of a question. And I'm
It's
thinking,
very difficult.
I'm sitting here with Mother Mary, and I can't think of a question to ask her, but it's because I'm being so present in your words and your vibration, and it's really beautiful. It really is so beautiful.
I'm very glad, beloved. And that is done deliberately because that is how this channeling works. So you are here to feel my words, not just hear with the mind. And in order to do that most effectively, you have to be present.
Yes.
And the mind clutter has to be quiet, right? So the heart can hear. So that is often why people come to my events. The subject matter is great, of course, and I give wonderful practices and things to do to help the evolution, but it's really the energy and how transformative it is because the mind is quiet during their time with me. And I would also say that that says a lot about the two of you, that you are the example I made earlier, people who want to go through the door, who want to make the effort to discover, grow and evolve. Because I've been with plenty of people in this kind of environment where they come with a whole list of questions, rattle off, and I've barely finished talking before they are jumping into the next question. And I feel a bit like I'm being drilled. Yes? So
I almost feel, I don't know how, I can't put it into words, like Jamie was saying earlier, I can't put it into words, but I feel like my whole body has slowed down.
yes.
Like my whole entire body, my energy, my vibration, everything has just slowed down at this beautiful pace. And I can't imagine what it would be like just to go through my day like this. It's this real kind of laid back, beautiful feeling.
Yes, because ultimately this is what you all want, is peace. Because emotions come and go, they are always cyclical. You can't be happy 24/7, nor would you want to be. That would be terrible. To be happy all the time would be awful. Because it is all your emotions and the range of each that adds depth and color to your lives.
Then why is it that the human race just kind of puts joy and happiness as the most prized emotion, and that we must achieve this
Resistance.
to have a success?
It's resistance because, and I find it is a punishment because it's a carrot that is never reached. And it causes many people to lose heart in spirituality and become very, very discouraged because supposedly the goal is happiness. And yet when you step on this path of discovery, what you find right away is the shadow. And the point is to love the whole self, right? So the point is love and consciousness. Loving shadow equal to light. If you have it, you love it. And that doesn't always make one happy. As a matter of fact, it can make one very, you discover old traumas. But when you do it with love, you always get the support you need. And you move through it. You can't bypass yourself. You can't bypass your shadow. You can't cut it out. You can't get rid of it. Because the shadow and light are one expression of self. And you are divine because you're human, not in spite of it. That's the discovery. That's the path. And when you settle into that and come to peace with it, all of a sudden those same aspects of shadow don't bother you as much. It's more like, oh, I know you. Here you are again, right? All right, how are we going to find solution for you today, beloved shadow? I love you, but you are annoying right now. Instead of, this is awful, I'm awful, I have to get rid of this, it's horrible, how do I get this out of me? And so that I can be happy. No, it's so that you can be in love. And you have children, yes?
I do, yes.
And you love them so much.
Yes.
Is every moment happy?
No,
Exactly. But does that change your love for them?
it does not.
Exactly. So within love, everything can exist. Do you see?
Yes.
Everything can exist. So let your goal be love, not happiness and joy. And then the irony is, of course, that when you are in love, that's the joy. Even when the shadow comes, there is a joy because it's you. And you are claiming self. And no matter how difficult what you discover is, it's still you. It's yours. And there's great joy in that, knowing that you have released another part of self from the unconscious into the conscious. It's always like a welcoming home, right? Oh, there's that part of self. I've missed you. Welcome home.
That's wonderful. Our time is growing short with each other. I wanted to ask if there was some words of showing us that are human in our physical bodies, of how to maybe communicate with you or to feel your essence or to include you in our daily life routine. If there's something that resonates really well with you, so therefore in turn works with us.
I'm very easy to please.
Yes?
Yes, you have to make the tiniest effort when I come running to say, I'm so glad you asked. But the best way to commune with me is to invite me to tea, chat with me, become friends, because first and foremost, you have to feel safe, because our relationship, no matter how little or how big, is very intimate. You know that I'm seeing all of you. And even though on some level you know I'm loving and accepting and celebrating all of you, there's still that feeling that, I want to hide this from her, and I don't want that to be seen, I'm embarrassed about that, or that is a humiliation. So you have to feel safe with me. So we go slow. Just like you start any relationship. Just start chatting with me in the shower, throughout your day. Sit down with me. If you have a meditation practice, invite me into your meditation. You can, of course, give me your prayers, but I will ask that at some point you learn how to stop talking and listen. Right? Because prayer, I can only give you so much grace. But if you listen, if you meditate, that's when the silver platter comes out. I've piled with gifts, grace, all that I can do to support you in your evolution. That is the whole of my journey. I am here as an aspect of Divine Mother to serve humanity in every aspect. And that is my only service. So my whole focus as a being is you, right? All of you.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
I give thanks and show gratitude for you being here. And I look forward to listing my 5 things I'm grateful for every day.
Good.
I like that.
Thank you. You are so loved, daughter. So loved. Know it every day.
Who's texting me?
See how loved she is?
Exactly. Little validation thrown in. And it's wonderful to be with you, beloved.
You as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaste. Hello.
Yeah. Bring us all back into the room. Do you sweat? I'm sweating.
Well, I am because of the lights, but I don't with the channeling so much. But the lights are a little warmish.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
And
so welcome.
just for being open enough to let us watch you transition and watch come back. There is a very physical sense in the room. It shifts. My low back is on fire with heat. At the base of my soul is on fire. I'm cool everywhere else. My hands are sweating.
Yeah.
My eyes are watering.
Yeah.
And this has been amazing, and I hope, Lumineers, as you're watching and experiencing and opening your heart to this, that you can sense and feel everything in the room. That was beautiful.
Who's texting me?
There it is. Thank you so much. Take care, Lumineers. Bye-bye.